So one thing in videos, this car always looks fantastic. I still got the valves open on this thing. I pulled the fuse in that last video. Any C6ZR1 owner, you have to know this. That fuse right down there, pull that fuse, race car. Put the fuse back in, stuck. You can't even see that on camera. That's the thing, is on a camera, cars look absolutely fantastic. But it looks like a bunch of fine scratches and water spots, right?
Yeah, nothing crazy deep though.
Needs some love, needs polish. And the carbon should really pop. So once you know what to look for, you can't not see it, especially in the sun. This is called swirl. And of course, it's paint damage. And some of this is just micro, tiny scratches from washing the car, waxing the car, rubbing on the car. Whenever you touch the car, you're slowly putting tiny scratches in. And once you see this, like I say, you can't unsee it. And it can almost be to a point where it'll drive you insane. I'm very, very particular about my paint on all my cars. I always like to get them color corrected. And you'll see in this video how much difference it is and how much of a shine comes from doing a full color correction. If you've never seen the ZR1 close up, well, the hood is all carbon fiber. The outside is painted, but it's raw carbon underneath. It's called exposed carbon, and it has kind of a satin finish on there, which, as you see, John is polishing right now. It brings up that carbon fiber look. Where the rest of the car has a carbon fiber roof, carbon fiber halo, which is the piece behind the roof, and that is exposed carbon. It had some kind of really expensive clear coat. The one thing is, it's one of the most beautiful carbon you've ever seen. It's absolutely a perfect weave, really, really nice looking. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other carbon on this, but I wanted to show you under the hood because that's not something that most people see. I showed you in that video how to unplug that fuse and activate the valves, which basically opens the valves. Well, I'm going to show you how to build a switch. It's a really cheap way of doing it, and I like it over the remote. So you're going to get a micro fuse. Doesn't matter what ampage it is. We're basically using it just for the little two prongs right there. First thing you're going to do is pop that fuse. You'll see the little bar across it, the little U shape. That is the actual fusible link right there. So we're basically going to pop that because we just need the two electrodes right here. You're going to take yourself a piece of electrical wire. You're going to strip one end about 1 inch right here. Then the other end, just a small amount. I'll show you why here in a second. This is only to pop the fuse. This isn't the finished product. So put it around here. Just doesn't have to be really tight. You can see now that little link is gone. That's essentially what the fuse is supposed to do. If it carries more current across here than it can handle, it basically is like a little circuit breaker. It's of course a one-time use. Now we have that piece broken. What we need to do now is these little tips right here is exposed. This comes all the way through here. We're going to shave a small amount of plastic off so we can expose this, so we can solder a wire on each side of that. I'll show you this. You can either use a little file or a sanding pad or a knife. All you want to do is scrape the top of this out. Just power wire. I think you could even use speak wire. You're going to go from the fuse box to wherever you want the switch. So give yourself, 6 feet maybe. So now a little epoxy, either JB Weld, there is another couple of products out there. All you're going to do is put a little bit around the end to support the wires. I made a little mold using some masking tape. Let that dry and then you can pull that tape off. Once you got your fuse dry there, that epoxy will hold it. Put a switch on the other end. This is a pretty cheap switch, just an on-off switch is all you need. This one has a light, but you need to put power to it to activate the light. All we're doing is using it to open or close that circuit right there. So there it is. Plug that in, find somewhere to put that. All right, so that is the valves open. Obviously the valves open themselves at about 3,500. Now, flick of a switch. That is closed. Look how much better that sounds. Or back to driving through your neighborhood. So a couple of places you can put it. One place I put it on the last time is I took the cigarette lighter out and put it there because this round switch is about the same size. Leave yourself enough wire. Put this pretty much anyway, hide it in the glove box. I don't like to drill the car. I don't like to drill. Some people drill holes in here and have a switch. I don't like to do that. It's something I don't use every single day, but I'll find somewhere to put it. But that is a super easy, cheap mod for you. Even if your car is stock, you'll have the cool sound with the switch. Drivability is absolutely spot on. It feels just like a factory ZR1. The difference being it's got so much more feel to the throttle. Just as you roll into the throttle, is so much more available without actually hammering down. You can feel like the car wants to go. And then of course when you hammer the throttle, it's got just gobs of power. It's like having two cars in one, a very mellow, nice, easy driving car, and a monster. I've owned a few C6ZR1s. Most of them I've ended up building. Problem with those cars, once you get upper 5s to 600 wheel, you end up needing a pretty healthy cam to make that kind of power. The problem is the more the camshaft, the more the drivability suffers. Well, of course, you can compromise it and try and find a cam that's got good drivability and good power. If you look around, everybody makes a cam. There is so many cam options out there because there's no real perfect cam. They're all variations of each other. The beauty of the ZR1, and especially this cam, is a BTR stage 2 is a pretty mellow cam. It's got a little bit of a chop to it and it makes more power, but the drivability is absolutely like stock. You can take off from a light right at idle, no issues, no surging, doesn't try and stall, it just drives. Then of course when you need it, squeeze on the throttle, it's very crisp, it doesn't bog, it doesn't have a delay, it's just ready to go. You hammer the gas, and of course, just tons and tons of power on tap. So guys, I said I wasn't going to sell this car, but like always, opportunities come a-knocking and something has to go if something is to come. So check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments and hit me up on Instagram if this is something you want. 830 horsepower with the potential to make a little over 9. However, I think this is the perfect power range for reliability and control, and of course, feels fantastic to drive. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Don't forget, enjoy your cars.